Hey, what's up everyone? Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids. Today we're looking at this, which is the M2R Warrior from Olight. As you can see, it's still in the box. We're going to unbox it here on camera, talk through some of the specs and details, and then take it out into the night and test this thing out. I EDC lots of different lights. Olights are definitely go-to flashlights for me. One of the small S1 baton that is rechargeable. That's a pretty standard one for me. I would say 50% of the time I really like that light. I do like a light that has a end pressure switch, and this one does. 1500 lumens. This has just a lot of options that I think it's going to be something that I'm going to enjoy using and will roll into my everyday carry systems. So let's check out what's in the box and then take it out into the night and use it. So usually Olight sends a lot of good kind of extras with their gear. So congratulations on your new Olight M2R. It basically talks about taking out the little insulating film that they put in so the battery doesn't get used while you're while it's in transport. So let's see here. Here's a look at the light real quick. I'll get the good lighting here for you so you can just see what that looks like. So hand size, you can see how big it is. It's definitely not something you're going to conceal inside your hand, but I do have an end pressure switch, and I already know that they have a magnet on here as well. So it's pretty rare to have an end pressure switch and the magnet as well. So you press it right now, nothing happens. I got to take out this insulating film. Okay, insulating film is out, and I do want to show you here, it does come with an 18650 battery. Positive end goes up toward the tail cap or tail switch. Let's give you a little light here. It's not a rubberized switch, you can see on the end there. So when you press it, it doesn't click in super strong. It's a little bit softer, I would say. So, and then you've got your, let me turn that on, and then you've got your selector switch up here. So let's just press that. All right, so click it on, and then I'm gonna hold down on the selector switch, and you can see it scroll through the different settings. So 4 it looks like, and then we'll check out some of the stats here in a second. Here's a look at your holster that comes with it. Kind of a different clip than most other holsters. It does come with a lanyard. I don't ever use lanyards. And then it comes with your magnetic base for charging, and that's it. You do get a little, looks like a, yeah, this is just like a kind of a one-page catalog with some information, and then it's got the rundown on all the specs. So let's talk about the details, and we'll take it out into the night and use it. Moonlight, which is 1 lumen. Low, which is 15, medium 2, which is 60, medium 1, which is 250, and then high, which is 700. Turbo is 1000, and then it's going to drop down to 700, and then it has 1500, and that's going to drop down to 700. Looks like both of those are going to run for 3 minutes, and then drop down to 700 for 120 minutes. Let's see what else can I tell you. Drop resistant to 1.5 meters, IPX8 rated. The Cree XHP35 is what you're looking at inside. And then your weight is 5.47 ounces, including the battery, and without the battery, it's 3.7 ounces. So that's the quick rundown. I mean, some of the initial thoughts, it's definitely, when you pick it up, it's got some weight. You can definitely feel the heft. It'll be interesting to work through the selector switch and the end pressure cap. That's always just, you gotta sometimes learn the different systems. It does have the clip that's gonna run nice and deep, but also allow you to put it on the brim of a hat if you wanted to do that. And a little bit of an aggressive bezel on it, not super aggressive, but you can see there's a little bit of texturing on that. Let's put it in the holster just so you can see what that looks like. So that's that. I can just tell you at a gut level, I don't know if I'm gonna be a big fan of this clip for the holster. It's a little bit goopy. It just doesn't click in the way I would like it to. Yeah, it's a little bit loose, a little bit, I don't know. I just like a standard, you know, QD clip like most people use. It does feel like overall the actual quality of the holster is good though. And I just bumped it on, so now I gotta turn it off. There's your little, on the back, you got a D-ring, plastic D-ring, feels pretty heavy duty. And then you've got a snap. I just bumped that thing on again, didn't I? Yeah, so gonna have to be aware of that. Looks like I turned it on by accident. I'll make sure I don't do that again. But all right, so there's your snap if you want to put it on a belt or a piece of gear. So there's your holster. There's a rundown of the light. Let's take this thing out into the night and use it. All right, guys, let's talk through some of the features here. For most lights, when you have an end switch and a switch here on the side, you think turn it on, and then this is your selector switch. Well, they actually kind of function sort of together, but really in general, or mostly I would say, differently, and they perform different functions within the light. So this end switch, you could press it down lightly, you get a momentary on, off, momentary on, off. If you press it down and then press it in a little bit, it'll click on and stay on, turn it off. So, you know, if you got a situation where you just want to take the light out, boom, turn it on, momentarily, off, on, off, take it out, boom, click it on, you can do so with the end switch. Now, with the side switch here, you'll see I'll hold it down, and it's going to come on at, you can barely see it, that very low moonlight setting basically, and then you're going to hold it down and it's going to scroll through. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Double click, it's going to go up to turbo, and then triple click, it's going to go to strobe, so strobe warning. There's that. Okay, so you've got momentary on, and then basically your various options here. If you want to put into tactical mode, turn it on and then hold down this side switch. The strobe will come on. Now you have your momentary, and if you click it in, it's going to go to strobe. All right, so now when you click it in, you see when I let go, it goes off. It doesn't lock into either of those modes when it's in that tactical mode. So momentary on, off, momentary on, off. You can go right into the strobe mode if you hold it down, but when you let go, it goes off again. So that's just some of the features. To be honest, it's a bit busy for me. Yeah, that's just, I want to like all the different features, but to me they have to kind of mold together and fit together in a way that makes a lot of sense to me. This is a little bit more complicated than I would care for. Okay, one other thing to note is that when you have it in your standard mode, so when I just press this in, it's on momentary, click it in, now it's locked in, that should be 1,000. When I go into the tactical mode, which is when I hold down the end and then press this side, this is supposed to go to 1,500 lumens for your turbo, and then click it into strobe. So 1,500 versus 1,000 when it's in your standard mode when you're operating the end switch. So just so you know the difference between those two. Okay, I got the light here right in front of me. I'm going to hold down the side switch to turn it on, and that's going to go into the moonlight mode, which you can see. Let's see, get in front of the camera. That's on. I mean, I'll put my hand in front of the camera so you can see. It is on, it is working. Not a ton of light, but it'll definitely give you some light. So let's move up to the different settings now. We're going to now go up to 15 lumens. So you can see out, you start to see the shape of my shed out there in the distance. Up to this next setting, which is 250, and then up to 700. There's your 700. I'm probably about 40 feet away from my shed. I can see the whole thing well. I can see the playground in my backyard, or the swing set, play place. What do you call that? Play area? It's not really a full playground. Anyhow, and shining back at the shed. When it's shining there, I can see probably 50% of the yard quite easily. Let me double click, go up to turbo here. So that's up to 1,000 lumens. And again, I can see the vast majority of the yard now. Nice flood on this light. You don't have a super hot center as I'm looking at it around. It's hotter, but it's definitely not a super hot center. Let's go to strobe here. That's what that looks like. And then I'll go through the settings here again, get it up to the highest. There's high, and then there's your turbo once again. So definitely very good output. I mean, I'm getting a lot of good light here, and yeah, I mean, I can see. I would be totally fine coming out here at night if I heard any noises. No concerns about, not being able to spot whatever is out in the backyard. One more look off into the distance here, off into the woods. That's 1,500, and then strobe. As a matter of fact, there is something out there in the woods. Let's go check it out. So this is a real life test here. I just saw the glint of a little eyeball out here in the woods. Probably by my compost bin. Probably a skunk. Definitely just heard something next to me in the woods too. Let's see what we can spot here. I'll get up to that 1,500 setting. Alright, so I can tell you right now, switching from that tactical mode to the standard mode was a bit of a challenge, because you try to click it in and it goes into strobe, and that's not super helpful. So see if we can spot this little animal. If it's a skunk, you may see me run, but that is what it is. Alright guys, I'm here on my front porch. You've seen the light in use. Let me wrap up now talking about the Olight M2R Warrior. What I will say is that if you're thinking about buying this light, I would tell you to buy the M1X Striker instead, also made by Olight. From 0.5 lumens up to 1,000 lumens, so you're going to get 500 more lumens with this. I just think this is overall better light. Let's talk about the M2R Warrior and what I do like about it. Alright, let me tell you what I like about this light. I like the look, I like the feel, I like the clip, I like the lumen output, so there's a bunch of good things. Another note I'll tell you about the clip is that, like I said, you can put it on a hat. You can also take the clip and put it in this little kind of cutout here, so you can run it bezel up or bezel down. I like the concept of N switch, N magnetic, that has a magnet in there as well. The execution, to me, it just isn't there on this one. I generally don't like, I've said this a million times, I generally don't like a small little selector switch or an on-off switch on the side. I much more prefer that end switch. So that was a win for me. I'd like to hear this thing click in. Yeah, the magnetic base, I'll roll in footage here. I tried it on a variety of different metal objects. It just doesn't stick. It keeps sliding and sliding and sliding. If you want to put it, you know, standing on a something metal pointing straight up at the ceiling, that'll keep it in place. But the idea of a magnetic base and the clicky switch at the end is great. It just doesn't do it. I've yet to find something that it'll stick to and really grab a hold of. And yeah, that's just kind of something. If I'm gonna have a magnetic base, I want it to be able to stick, and this one doesn't. Now, for me, when I get a new light, I'm always spending time getting used to the features and functions, how it operates. This one is just a little too busy for me. With the multiple options for your end switch from the standard to the tactical, and then you have the side switch too. It's just, there are too many things there. I like a variety of options, but this, I feel like it just gives me too much. So who is this for? I honestly, if you're gonna buy this, I would just buy the Striker. If you don't like that aggressive bezel that's on the Striker, you can see the difference between the two. This one's got a little bit of texture, but that one's much more aggressive. Then maybe go with this one. And if you have to have that, instead of just 1,000 lumens up to 1,500 lumens, then yeah, go with this one. But from 1,000 lumens to 1,500 lumens, I don't see a huge difference, and this is a great light. Let me just mention something here. So I've got my EDC lights that I have in my little EDC case, and I rotate through lights. But right now in that case, I've got the M1X Striker from Olight. I've got this copper S1 baton. I've got the rechargeable S1 baton. I've got the S2 baton. And then I've got a light from PowerTac, and I've got a Surefire, I think this is the G2, yeah, I think it's the G2X, I think it is, with my Theorem switchback. So I'd have 6 lights I'm putting down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 of them are Olights. So I obviously like Olight as a company. I think they make great products. I just think this one has a bunch of features that, if it was the only one out there like this on the market from Olight, maybe I'd say, yeah, go for it. But I would just say buy the M1X Striker, because I think it's just got the bells and whistles that you probably want from the Warrior, but it just does it in a more efficient system. That's pretty much it, guys. I want to shoot straight with you and tell you what I really think about the products that I review. So I'm just telling you, the M1X Striker is definitely a win, and the M2R Warrior is something for me I'd pass on, and I'd choose something else. So yeah, if you have it, if you've tested it out and you know you've had some experience with it, let's hear your comments in the comment section down below to let us know what you think about this particular light. Thanks as always for checking out the videos here on YouTube. Please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids if you haven't done so already. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check us out on Instagram and Tumblr as well. More videos coming soon. Take care.